Alright, in box 1, please copy and solve this problem. 15 equals 4a minus 5. Go ahead and pause the video so you can solve it or copy it down. The video should stop on itself in a few seconds and it will ask you for the answer. So make sure you pause it to get it down. I'm not sure what's going to happen. Alright, to solve this equation, you would add 5 to both sides. I always draw my river down the middle first. That keeps everything on each side of the equal sign. So we want to get rid of the 5 over here. Again, this should be review for you. And these two are going to cancel out. I call these addition boxes because you add what's inside of them. Negative 5 plus 5 is 0. That goes away. 15 plus 5 is 20. Now we have 4 times a, so we want to divide both sides by 4. And we get a equals 5. Don't forget to circle your answer. So if you did not get this in box 1 for your answer, please go ahead and correct it now. Alright, here's the second problem in box 2. Go ahead and write this problem. Y divided by 5 plus 9 equals 6. Alright, make sure you pause it, copy it down, because in a second the video is going to stop and ask you for the answer. And the way to solve this, I'm going to draw my river here. To get rid of plus 9, I'm going to put minus 9 on both sides. I'm going to box it. It's my addition box. So 9 plus negative 9 will cancel out, and you're left with y divided by 5 equals 6 plus negative 9, or 6 minus 9, is negative 3. Now here, this is where a lot of people make a mistake. We're going to divide by, this is dividing by 5 on both sides, so I'm going to multiply by 5 on both sides. These two 5s cancel, and you get y equals negative 15. And circle the answer. So if you didn't get that, go ahead and pause the video and copy down the correct steps or fix any mistakes you may have made. Alright, same thing for box 3. Copy down this problem and try it. 17 minus s divided by 4 equals negative 10. Now this, because the 17 minus s, and that's an s, is all being divided by 4, the first thing you need to do is multiply both sides by 4 to get rid of that divided by 4. This is different from the last one because the division line goes under the variable and the constant over here. So these two cancel, and you get 17 minus s equals negative 40. Alright, I'll put my line in here to keep the rest of it straight. So I have a minus s here. Anyway, my next step is going to be get rid of the 17 on both sides. So we have negative s equals negative 57. How did I get negative 57? Put my addition boxes here. I added these two and they canceled, and these two added together is negative 57. Now some people tell you to do some different things. We don't want a negative s here. We want a, right here, we don't want that negative sign. So I'm going to make it a positive s, and the way I'm going to do that is take the opposite. The opposite of negative s is positive s, and the opposite of negative 57 is positive 57. So if you didn't get the right answer the first time, go ahead and write the answer, or copy this down in box 3. Alright, this one you don't have to try on your own first. I just want you to copy it down in box 4. This is an equation with variables on both sides. Now I'm going to draw my river down the middle here. The first thing we want to do is get the variable on one side. So you can either get rid of the 4q over here, or you can get rid of the 10q. I always like to get rid of the one on the right. It's just a habit of mine, but you can get rid of the 4q, negative 4q if you want. So let's get rid of this 10q. The way I do that is I subtract 10q from both sides. Now make sure that, I'm going to put my box here, make sure you put the box around that minus in front of the 14, or you're going to really mess up. So I'm going to bring the 3 down. Minus 14 plus minus 10 is negative 14. Now there's a whole bunch of different ways to think about this. Negative 4 plus negative 10, negative 4 minus 10. Whichever way you do it, you're going to get a negative 14. So that's why I put minus 14. Let's stick my variable here. Now these two have canceled, and we got 10 equals 10. Make sure you copy this down in box 4. So now it's a two-step equation. This should be easy from here. We do minus 3 on both sides. So negative 14g equals negative 13. Then I divide both sides by negative 14. And we get g equals 13 over 14. Now, in algebra, you always want to leave this as a fraction, unless it's a specific problem that asks you to change it to a decimal, like some type of word problem. So this, we would just keep it as a fraction simplified to lowest terms. And I noticed I just made a mistake. Pretty simple one. So I'm going to get rid of, so let's fix that mistake. It should have been a 10 minus 3 is not 13. It's 7. Pretty simple. So instead of my final answer of 13 over 14, we get g equals 7 over 14 will reduce to negative 1/2. So that should be my final answer. So make sure you fix that. One in box 5. I want you to try it on your own. Go ahead and pause it to make sure you copy it down, then give it a shot. So here's the solution. We're going to get rid of a variable. Again, I usually like to get rid of the variable on this side first. I don't know why, but you could do minus 5t on both sides first. But I'm going to do plus 3t on both sides. That will get rid of this, so now I'm going to make it into a two-step equation. 5t plus 3t is 8t. Minus 9 equals 10. Now it's a two-step. We're going to add 9 to both sides. Use my addition box here. Cancel those out. 8t equals 19. And then we divide both sides by 8. And that gives us t equals 19 over 8. Now another thing, besides leaving your answer as a fraction, for algebra or Common Core Math 1, usually you want to leave it as an improper fraction. That's a way you can use it in other equations. We'll get to that later. Sometimes you might have to change it to a decimal or a mixed number, but just for simple algebra, you want to use improper fractions. All right, here's box 6. And we're going to copy this one down together. So 5 minus 1/2 is is x minus 6. Sorry, we'll try it again. 5 minus 1/2 times the difference of x and 6 equals 4. This one we have parentheses, so we have to use the distributive property. Now you need to be very careful here because you're distributing a negative 1/2. Now if you want to do to add a line, change a sign, or keep it, add it, change it, it's called the additive inverse, you can, but I'm not going to do that. Just remember to do minus times both of those. So it's going to be 5 negative 1/2 times x is negative 1/2 x, and negative 1/2 times negative 6, so I'm going to multiply negative 1/2 times a negative 6 is positive 3. Now, some of your teachers in the past may have had you do this to make it a little easier. You don't necessarily have to do that in here. If you want to, if that makes that easier to make sure you get a positive 3 right here, then that's fine, but I don't make you do that. It's up to you. Equals 4. Now in this one, we still want to make it look like a two-step equation, so we need to combine some like terms. So I'm going to draw my river in. I got a 5 and a 3 on this side of the river I can combine. Those are my like terms. So it's negative 1/2 x plus 8 equals 4. Now it's a two-step equation. We want to get rid of positive 8, so I'm going to put negative 8 on both sides. That will cause these two to cancel. You get negative 1/2 x equals, add these two together, negative 8 plus positive 4 is negative 4. Notice I'm using my addition boxes, so we end up with negative 1/2 times x equals 4. Now, just because there's a fraction there doesn't mean you have to do anything crazy. Negative 1/2 times x. So to get rid of something you multiply, the coefficient, you're going to divide by negative 1/2 x. So x equals, so you're going to remember how to divide. Negative 4 divided by negative 1/2, you're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So that's like negative 4 times negative 2 over 1. So negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. Alright, this one I want you to try on your own. This is for, let me cut that off. This is for box 7. It's 2 times the difference of w and 3 plus 5 equals 3 times the difference of w and 1. So give this a try, pause it, copy it down. It should ask you for an answer choice. Alright, so if you didn't get the correct answer, or if you did, I'm going to go through it anyway and you can copy it down. So we're going to use distributive property here and here. So we get 2w minus 6 plus 5 equals 3w minus 3. Put my river in. Now I'm going to combine my like terms on either side of the river. I can combine a negative 6 and a positive 5. So 2w minus 1 equals 3w minus 3. So I just combine my like terms. Now I have equation with variables on both sides. I'm going to, of course, subtract my negative 3w on both sides. That will get rid of the variable on this side. Those cancel. This is my addition box. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1w minus 1 equals. Now don't forget that's not a 3. There's a minus there, so it's negative 3. Now it's a two-step equation. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. Use my addition boxes. Negative 1w equals negative 2. Divide by negative 1. W equals 2. So what you should have gotten when you tried it on your own is W equals 2. If you didn't get it, go ahead and pause the video and give it and try it. And fix your mistakes on your paper. All right, in box 8, we're going to learn something new, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Sometimes you're solving out an equation and the variables disappear, and you can end up with one of three things, or one of two things if the variables disappear. So this is box 8. I want you to write this. What if this happens? You end up with a 4 and then a 5. So 4 equals 5. This happens after you work out a problem. You end up, the variables are gone. You end up with 4 equals 5. So we worked out an equation. This is what we got. So what does that mean? Well, you look and you see, well, 4 equals 5. That's not a true statement. All right, 4 does not equal 5, so our answer is no solutions. And basically what that means is the equation they gave you is impossible to solve. All right, in box 9, I want you to write this. What happens if you're working out an equation? And so you work out an equation, the variables disappear, and you end up with this, two numbers that are the same on both sides. Again, this doesn't have to be a 4 and a 5 up here. It could be any two numbers that are different. And this doesn't have to be 7s. It could be any two numbers that are the same. So what kind of answer would that be? Well, if you get this, that means any number you plug into the original equation would work. So if that happens, you get an answer of, you can say a couple different ways they say it. Sometimes they say all numbers. They could also say all solutions, and that's because this is a true statement. 7 does equal 7, so it's a true statement. All right. In box 10, go ahead and write this down. What happens to all the equations that we've been solving so far? This is the third type. You can have no solution sometimes. Sometimes you can have all numbers. But the ones we usually get is this. You end up with a variable on one side and a number on the other. Well, how many solutions is that? That's one solution. So go ahead and put that in box 10. That's your third type of solution. We have no solutions, all numbers, and one solution. All right, put this in box 11. I might have skipped a box here, but whatever. So you can put this in box 11. I want you to try this problem. 2 times 2x plus 8, in parentheses, equals 4 times the sum of x plus 4. Go ahead and try that and tell me what your answer is. Make sure you pause this now to copy it down. All right, so I'm going to draw my river. First, I use distributive property on the left-hand side. I get 4x plus 16 equals, on this side I get 4x plus 16, and some of you can see what's going to happen already. If you get rid of the variable on this side by subtracting 4x, what happens is, use my addition boxes here, this goes away and that goes away, so you get 16 equals 16, and we just learned when you get the same number on both sides, your answer is all numbers or all solutions.